provide.
Hello, welcome back to our second episode of our vlog for Raleigh Game Studios. I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeff.
Today we're going to be talking about how we originally got started with deciding that we were going to do a studio, so it'll be kind of our origin story, if you will. That's what today's episode is going to be about. I had ideas for video games, and I've, much like many of the times in the past, I've thought of ideas and concepts. And then I started thinking about, well, how do I go from just a concept to actually putting something out there for people to play? And that's when I started actually researching more of a game design and going through and actually started a game design document. Started just fleshing out some of those ideas, some of how the game would work, how the process would play out. But then I was like, well, one of the gaps that I had is that I didn't actually have the skills to go and just jump in and start making a game. And really neither Jeff or I do have that skill set, which is its own set of challenges. So we had to do an approach in a different way.
Yeah, and I remember it kind of started, we were just kicking around ideas, talking about things we'd done in the past or ideas and projects we'd had that we never really finished. And you had that one idea that you were super excited about and really wanted to bring into reality. And I remember at first we were just talking about it and going through scenarios and quest ideas and stuff, but then you actually had a design document, like within like a week or two, I think. I feel like it was really fast.
Yeah.
And from there it was like, all right, well, I've got this is almost like a proof of concept, but like how do you take this and make it a thing? And that's where I know it kind of transitioned into, okay, well, you need a business now. There's a whole other level of like setup that's required before you can even start actually, creating this.
Like most companies starting out, financing is always going to be that big hurdle that you have to kind of jump over in order to start getting to the next steps that you need. We would hope that with our idea we could get the appropriate resources to work on the project for free. But
That'd be great.
Yeah, it would be great. With that incentive structure that they would get a portion of the proceeds. But that's a little bit more challenging. It requires working on it part-time. And as project managers, we know that if you don't work on something full-time, it's just going to get the timeline to go out. And it's not something for the games that we want to make. We didn't want our first game to take 2, 3, 4, 5 years get out there. So we would have to look like a legitimate company, so that when we're applying for grants, when we're applying to, or I guess not really applying, but looking for investors who wanted to invest in the company, looking for folks who wanted to crowdsource, give us our money, that we didn't just look like we would be someone who would abscond in the night with their funds and just kind of live off of that. So our next step would be starting a business.
So what, since I wasn't really doing much with that side of it at that time, what did you have to do to set up a business, to set up Raleigh Game Studios?
So we live in a great time. It makes it so much easier with all the internet at your fingertips. Because I know when we originally were talking back and forth, I think it was probably Christmas break of 2019, and maybe like just in January of 2020, like maybe at the very beginning, and I was like, I'm going to actually start researching this. So there's so much information on the internet about what kind of company that you want to start. Do you want to do sole proprietorship? Do you want to do a partnership, LLC, an S corp, a C corp? So I started just researching all those different items, and ultimately I settled on LLC because it made the most sense based off of where we were going to be. It gave us a little bit more flexibility. And so I actually found a really good resource online that gave a step-by-step on how to go through the process and actually apply for being an LLC in the state of North Carolina, which is where we reside. And if future Chris can get it working, I'm going to put a link here. But outside of that, yeah, future Chris's problem. Hopefully we'll get it figured out. So we put in the application to the Secretary of State, submitted our fee, waited a little bit, and Elena Marshall approved. Thanks, Elaine.
I remember looking on the website and being like, so it said something like Elaine Marshall said yes or something. I'm like, that's not his wife's name.
No, she is the Secretary of State. She has all the final say so in that stuff, sort of topic.
So the question is, once you have a business set up, what do you do? Where do you go from there?
Yeah, so the next step was really eye-opening because I never really had much of an entrepreneur mindset, or even just the concept of running a business. So once again, the resources that were at my fingertips on the internet were great as far as determining the next step. So it was always, hey, you should write a business plan. The business plan is going to help you look like a legitimate business, but it's also, as I was going through the process of actually writing that out, it made me think about a lot of the different pieces of the business that we would have to think about and actually plan for. So we went through, you're thinking about, well, obviously your finances and your budgeting, thinking about how we're going to network, thinking about how we're going to advertise, looking at our competition and what they do, looking at our sales plan, looking at our marketing plan, and as you're going through and thinking, oh, I don't know that, I don't know that, I don't know that, really just approached it the way a project manager would do, with a milestone list and then a series of action items to reach those milestones.
Yeah.
Of course, the marketing aspect was one of the pieces we started first. To us, it's going to be, or is very important, to connect with the world, connect with our audience. And that's where the website comes in, RaleighGameStudios.com. Go there. Our social media accounts on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, they're really important with connecting to our target audience.
And I know one thing that was really cool was we started doing this and you started building the website, and we needed a logo. And that was like the coolest thing, because I've never even considered having like a logo for a business. I never thought that would happen.
Yeah, and so I reached out to one of my friends, Kristen, at Studio Array, who actually does branding and creates logos. She's just absolutely talented to help with the logo, and I gave her the ideas that I was thinking, and she came back with the logo that you've seen so far.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, super happy with it.
Yeah, it's super weird too, because I feel like a lot has changed between when we were teenagers playing games and now. where marketing is just a totally different game. Um, and it's funny because like when I was younger, I'd be all over Facebook or MySpace or whatever, and I would have been so down. And now I'm just like, I have to do social media stuff. But like, but but it's actually been fun. Like I'm actually looking forward to like streaming. I think I'm gonna start streaming on Twitch soon under the RGS logo. Um, and just I guess Instagram, like process pictures, and that'll be more interesting as we're creating. Right now it's like
Yeah.
you want to see our business forms, like, but it'll be really cool to actually share things.
Here's a picture of me with my with the business plan.
Yeah. It's framed now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be kind of cool to actually share things. So I've done kind of a 180. I was a little it was kind of like waking up in the morning. You don't really want to do things, and then once you have your coffee, you're like, all right, yep, I'm good.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yep, absolutely. Especially when we talk about creating the content, which you're watching now. While we're talking about all the business aspects that we need as far as marketing, advertising, all of those sort of things that we need to get in order to run the business, at the same time, we've been considering the fact that we also need to get our process in place to actually make the video game. And that's a lot of where our project management comes into play. So in addition to all the other business aspects, we've been planning project management, which for us is a little bit easier because that's our comfort zone and what we're more familiar with, because that's what we do on a day-to-day basis. So creating all the tools and techniques, all the templates, creating schedules, that part is what we're good at. And also what we've been doing as well, still working on those templates, but what we're missing as far as the process goes is, well, a lot of projects are going to have those typical phases, whether you're doing waterfall or an agile project, and so you're going to kind of follow a particular framework. What we don't have is the subject matter expert knowledge in the domain of making video games.
And specifically, what kinds of subject matter experts are we looking at?
Yeah, so with that, since we're looking at kind of our artists, we know we're going to need artists to do the work. We know we're going to need programmers, and so one of the things that's also been great, once again, living in the digital age, is being able all the research and the videos that are out there that we can just kind of look and watch. So, that's what we've been doing is watching these videos, trying to gather as much information as possible. And then also, one of our upcoming tasks that we have is starting to do our networking planning, where we're going to actually start reaching out to folks in the industry, folks who actually have that experience doing this kind of things that we will be doing on a day-to-day basis, as far as being producers, being designers, and trying to glean as much information from them as possible, so that we can try to fill in those gaps of what we know with project management versus what we don't know with a video game project. So that'll be in the next couple of months of one of the things that we're working on. In addition to hopefully we're doing these again, going to the local cons, conventions and things like that that are around, since we, as part of our initial networking research, we did create a list of local cons that would be beneficial for us to attend, at the very least, to just talk with other like-minded individuals and see what kind of information we can get from them.
Yeah. So as we are coming up to the end of this segment, we had one more little section where we wanted to talk about challenges that we will be facing. And we've kind of talked about them peppered throughout, but a lot of it um, has to do with our knowledge, like you were just talking about. We don't have insider knowledge of the game industry. We have our knowledge as players and our knowledge as project managers, which is, it's a leg up on one side, but on the other we're at a huge disadvantage. So that's going to be huge, getting people on board after we research, who we can work with to actually make this a reality, because we just don't have that skill set yet. Another big thing that you talked about too is financing, and I've been looking online at things like Kickstarter, and I know you're looking into like angel investor groups and things like that, and it's super cool, the stuff you can do, but it's also super daunting because every good Kickstarter has like great art and that's like, I feel like 90% of how they sell is just having great art and great prototyping or demos ready. So
Right.
you can't just fake it till you make it with this stuff. You have to actually create something that's good before you even bring it to the table, and that's daunting.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the last thing, is time. Both of us work full-time jobs as project managers, so this is all our free time work.
Yeah.
We don't really we can't really approach it like a hobby, but we also can't do it while we're running IT projects. And
Right.
kind of rough. But I think it's going to be super cool. We're going to learn a lot. I know we're going to do it. It's just right now we've got to get from point A to point B.
Right. Yeah, and I know especially the financial aspect of it has probably been, to me at least, the biggest challenge. And I know a lot of the, as I've always thought about starting up a video game company, that it always comes back to what causes the most doubt. But then I always think to be a little back to my English days, and quote from one of Shakespeare's plays, that doubt is often the traitor that makes us lose the good we might win by fearing to attempt. So at this point in my life, I think, well, I can take the risk, and let's do it.
Right.
Cool. Thanks for joining, everyone. That's all we have for this month's episode. So stay tuned for future episodes. I think we're going to try to at least start off doing these on a monthly basis, and follow along.
Yes. Next month we are doing Cyberpunk September. We know the game was delayed, but we're doing it anyway because it sounds cool and we're super pumped to do it. So we're not going to back away from that. We're going to be talking themes. We're going to be talking influential works within the genre. So if it's not something you're familiar with, it's a good chance to learn something. And if you are, you're going to be nerding out. So it'll be fun. And we're looking forward to doing it.
Thanks again. Once again, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeff.
Join us next time.
Bye.
I hope this isn't Chris's blood.